Alright. We're reviewing everything for the test. Starting with surface area of sphere. You've got your formula of 4 pi r squared. Just plug in that number, type it in, you got your answer. Alright, so that should be easy. If it gives you the surface area, we plug that number in for S. What do we do next?
Divide 4 pi.
Divide by 4 pi. What did we say on this part right here?
Only divide the numbers and leave the pi, right?
No. What did I tell y'all about this right here? Make sure you do.
Oh, put it fraction.
Do it as a fraction. If you don't do it as a fraction, it's going to mess it up. So you'll wind up, let's just say, I'm going to say this is 44 or something. But that's equal to r squared, so what would I have to do next? Then I've got to square root it to get my answer. So make sure you do that last step. If it says do a hemisphere, we're going to do the whole thing. I want to say this was like 615.8. I'm making that up. But then you got to divide that by 2. And I don't know if these numbers are right, but that's the process you would do. It says the circumference is 12 pi feet. I told y'all to make sure on the quiz, if it's 12 pi, you put that in the equation. A bunch of people did not put 12 pi, they put the 12 or whatever it was. So then I would divide here. The pi part cancels off and just leaves the number. 12 divided by 2 is 6. It says find surface area. So then I would take my new number, type that in, and get my answer. Alright. For volume of a sphere, basically the same process, we just change the formula. I'll take my number there, plug it in to the formula 4/3 power cubed, type it in and get my answer. We're good with that, I hope. If it gives me the volume, I type that in or put that in. What's my next step? Divide by 4/3 pi. And then whatever this winds up being, so you might have it.
Get it real quick.
It's in your notes.
Good morning, Early County High School.
Somebody got the answer here? How much? Alright, so I would have 460.1, but that equals r to the 3rd. How do we do the cube root thing that we need to? Math 4, type that in, and then get whatever your answer is. Alright, if it said find diameter and circumference, I'm still going to find radius first, so do the same thing that we just did on the last slide. Take your radius, multiply by 2 to find diameter, plug it into 2 pi r to find circumference. These right here, some of us didn't get these the first time around. I want to compare the surface area and volume second sphere to the first one. So I'm going to take my second radius and divide it by the first radius. That tells me how much the radius changed, so it's 2 times bigger. For surface area, I'm going to say 2 squared, so that's 4 times bigger. Whatever that number is you get when you divide up here, you square it, and that tells you what happens to surface area. You cube it, and that tells you what happens to the volume. Square it, cube it. For these, all we got to do is length, width, height. Type them in. We should never miss one of those. If it's a pyramid, rectangular pyramid, 1/3 length, width, and height.
1/3.
Why do I have to use the 10 and not the 7?
Because they can 7, they're confused.
7 is the slanted one. I don't do slanted, I do the right angle. Cylinder, pi r squared h. Just make sure you got the radius when you plug it in. If it's a cone, it's 1/3 pi r squared h. Again, what do I do with that 12?
You don't use it because it's slanted.
It's slanted, can't use it. Alright, these we did not do well with. You got 2 parts. You got the rectangular prism at the bottom. You got the cylinder at the top.
16 divided by 2 to get your bus.
No.
Just square root of 16.
10? No. 10 times 4 is my length and my width. My height is based off of this to this, right there. What I need to figure out is, okay, well, this is a 10 just like that is a 10 at the bottom, which means each part is 5. So the height of the rectangular prism at the bottom is 16 minus 5, or 11. So that takes care of that part. The cylinder is the pi r squared h. We just found the radius from that 5. Where does the height of the cylinder come from?
So that's 4.
This part right here and that part right there are the same. So the height is 4. So I'll type that in, get 314.2. But that has to be divided by 2. So then I take those two parts and add them up, and you got your answer. For the silo, the bottom is a cylinder, the top is a sphere. So I'll do pi r squared h here. In this case, it gave me the 25 for the height, so I plug that in. The 8 is half of the 16, which is my diameter. Then over here, I'm going to do 4/3 pi r cubed. I think that was 2144.7 or something. But again, what do I have to do with that one? What do I have to do with this one? I don't have a complete sphere at the top. I have a hemisphere. So I'd have to divide that. Then I'm going to take whatever this one is. I can't remember. I think it's something like that. Maybe. Add those two up. If it gives me the volume, plug that into whichever formula. Plug in the parts. Multiply it out on the right side and divide. Same deal here. Plug those in, multiply out the right, and divide. If it's one like this, divide by the 11 pi in this case, and then whatever you get here, you're going to have to square root. The circle stuff, we should be okay with, right? Change the signs when we're plugging it into the equation, and square the radius over there. The square root of 10 squared winds up being just 10. All right. Any problems with that? Graphing it, you find the center. Do the opposite signs. Radius is always going to be the square root of that last number. Put it on the graph. Use the radius to go up to, right to, down to, and left to. Draw your circle. Rewriting it. Hopefully by now we're good with that right there. A squared and y squared have to be positive. Find the center and the radius. On this one, I would have to move that. Make sure that you put the y, excuse me, the x part first, then the y, then the number. If 6 is in the middle, what goes at the end? 9. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Added on both sides. 4 is in the middle. You get 4 when you divide by 2 and square it. These 3 break down. Those 3 break down. Add up the stuff on the other side. There's your equation. Center is negative 3,2. Radius is square root of 49, which is 7. These right here we should never miss. Put the center part in, change the signs. How do I find the radius if it gives me a point of zero?
If the 3 is the same as the y, then
If those match,
If
then
the
all
X-
I've got to do is see how far the 4 and the 0 are away from each other. It's 4 spaces. Make sure you put 4 squared or 16. If it's the tangent stuff, I'm still gonna change the signs. Check how far is that X from that X? 3 spaces. If this is a Y down here, check how far it is from the Y up there. And then the ends of the diameter, start with midpoint. Add up the X's divided by 2, add up the Y's divided by 2. What is that point right there?
That's the center of the
If
circle.
I do the midpoint of the diameter, that's gotta be the center.
You gotta take one of them.
Then I'm gonna take the center, and one of those points, I'm just gonna use the first one, and do the distance formula for those. So, what is this actual distance that I'm finding up there?
You actually found the radius.
This is actually the radius, so I'm gonna go ahead and change it to that. So 3 minus 5 squared plus 5 minus 2 squared. What did I tell y'all about this right here?
Don't do the square
Do
root.
it without the square root. Just type in the number stuff right there.
And then
You wind up with 13, then you put the square root around it. Write the equation from the center that we have over there, and then the radius part that we just found. That last part is going to be multiplied out,
It's gonna stay the same.
and there's your equation.